innovative new app enabling video wall functionality at a fraction of the cost. And we have two panelists today that will be presenting. Ted Trepanier, who is the Inrix product management team, or on the team, for traffic flow platform. And we also have Kevin Sylvester, who's also with Inrix, the product management team. And just a couple housekeeping items first before we get started. Everyone is on mute and will be throughout the entire webinar. If you have any questions, go ahead and submit your questions on the GoToWebinar question window in the bottom right corner of your screen. And we will answer all questions at the end of the presentation. This webinar is being recorded, and you will receive a copy of the webinar or a link to the webinar within 24 hours after this is done. And it will also be on our website within a couple days. So with no further ado, I will go ahead and turn this over to Ted Trepanier.
Thanks, Rose, and again, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining us today. Let's see here. So what we're going to cover today, so I have just a couple of setup slides on Inrix, the company, for those of you who may be new to us. And we're going to talk about essentially the monitoring platform. So all of the products related to real-time traffic that are available for monitoring traffic in real time via web-based platforms. And we're going to introduce the RoadWatch product, the new product today, and there will be a live demonstration of that so you can actually see how this product would actually work. And then we'll talk a little bit about how you can access a free trial of the platform if any of this interests you. So we're going to dive right in. We do have a lot of material to cover today. So starting with the Inrix overview, I think most of you are probably familiar with this, but Inrix is the largest traffic data provider in the world as far as companies that are focused on traffic and movement data. So again, now we're starting to add more and more to the portfolio that is about population movement moving well beyond traffic. We still do have this huge driver network that's contributing to Inrix, and talk a little bit more about that in a couple coming up slides. Service now covers 40 countries and grows a couple times a year, so you always have to stay tuned for the latest development. And then the slide shows just a subsection of the 300 plus customers that are accessing Inrix data services today. So the core of what we do is built on our traffic platform, our technology platform. So it's a powerful fusion engine that pulls in many disparate data sources and essentially turns a lot of raw data into useful information. There's several parts to it. There's a huge engine, of course, dedicated to traffic flow. There's also now a very robust platform dedicated to the merging of and production of incident data, and then adding all kinds of driver services on top of that, such as parking data, event data, fuel prices, camera views, all these different services. And then through our connected services platform, we make that data then into information that's available and tailored to a number of different customer lines. And so directly into vehicles for the original equipment manufacturers, folks like BMW, Ford, Audi, Volkswagen, servicing many, many DOTs and public sector agencies of all sizes, utilizing the data, fleets, and certainly mobile and broadcast are kind of round out the top users of the data, but they're a very disparate group of customers. Just one slide to talk about the diversity of the connected driver network. So again, now we have over 175 million vehicles contributing data to the Inrix platform. One of the key things is the vehicles are of all sizes and types and different operating characteristics. So it's a very representative information set that feeds the system. Many commercial vehicles, heavy over-the-road trucks, as well as smaller delivery vans, taxi cab fleets, and these sorts of things. And those are very important to the data stream as they tend to provide data 24 hours a day. Those are the folks that are out there driving across country, keeping the data live on the interstate systems overnight. And then a vast and growing consumer fleet. So again, the folks like the BMWs and Fords that are contributing data, and then a very rapid growing mobile fleet. So data provided into mobile platforms that provide data back is kind of growing at exponential rates. So on top of this very rich data set for traffic data, then we're collecting incident data and curating that professionally, accident data, construction data, special event data. And so I'll talk a little bit more about that when I talk about the incident platform. Just a couple of slides to show what's happening to the big data. So we hear the term big data used, and thrown around a lot these days, but Inrix really is a big data company, and this slide just gives just a kind of a snapshot of what's happening over time. So the slide represents individual GPS data points that have been reported to Inrix in just a 15-minute snapshot of time. And of course, this is centered on the United States, but we could show the same picture in any of 40 countries around the world. And so you can see here what the data looked like in 2010. So every red dot on the screen represents one GPS data point that was received to Inrix. And as you see the lines that represent the freeways going across the United States, there is no underlying base map here. I mean, those lines are simply being drawn by individual, data points that have been received. Now, if I click forward to last year, same point in time, so 4 years later, you can see just how much that data set has grown. And we really have reached this inflection point, especially because of mobile and the number of connected vehicles that are rolling across the line, that this trend is not only continuing but actually accelerating. So as we look forward into the future, roads that in the past have thin data are going to have rich data, and roads in the past that had nearly no data will have data that will provide a lot of information to us. So we'll be able to roll up and serve up in a number of different ways. So now just to talk about now and shifting to the real-time suite of services, we have the XD traffic. So this is our rich data set of real-time traffic flow. Inrix calculates the speed on a segment-by-segment level and updates it once per minute. So over 4 million miles of roadway, where we're actually doing a calculation for every segment, every minute, and updating that and making that available through our connected services platform, but also through the web-based interfaces that we're going to demonstrate today. XD incidents, so very rich data set of incident, accident, and flow incident information that we'll touch on a little bit today as well. And then the introduction of the new service, RoadWatch, for real-time monitoring of camera views across the globe. So an introduction to the XD traffic and the monitoring sites. So we first launched the inrixtraffic.us site in June of 2010. Time flies. It does not seem like it's been that long ago, but here we are coming up on a 5th anniversary of this site. The inrixtraffic.us site is a real-time monitoring site that is intended specifically for use by public agencies and contractors that are working for public agencies. It is free. It is not a limited time offer. It is not a demo product or an evaluation product. It is a truly free, no cost monitoring site where you can get a view of real-time traffic, in your area and across the U.S. The .us site also does reach, actually covers all of North America, and we have a complementary site for Europe as well. There's no advertising on the site. The free site is focused on the major roadways of the country. There is a premium site that I'm going to demonstrate that does broaden that view substantially with XD traffic. The site auto-refreshes every 60 seconds, so it's very appropriate to put up on the wall of a management center to keep an eye on what's happening across your jurisdiction. The basics of the site, it's very familiar and easy to use, with the very familiar controls that you're used to seeing on most internet sites with the pan and zoom functionality. You can toggle on and off highways and arterials to be able to more easily drill down. You can select whether you want to see a congestion view, colors that folks are typically used to looking at for traffic flow. But you can also select a speed view, which actually then the legend converts to essentially miles per hour in different speed ranges. So you can actually see what the running speed is on every segment of roadway. It also allows you to click on a segment. So this is really what differentiates this from other free maps that you see on the internet, is that you can actually click on any segment and get the current speed reading as well as the typical speed and the free flow speed for that individual segment of roadway. One issue there, okay. So to register, you simply go to the site, the inrixtraffic.us URL, and click Create an Account. Fill out the information. Two basic requirements here that kind of trip folks up is that we do approve sites based on your email domain. So we need to be able to tell by your email that you belong to an agency. And so that means even if you work for a DOT and you register with your Gmail account, we're going to send a reply asking you that you register with your agency email. So it's important that you use your agency email address. And then it's also important that you use a strong password, right? So something with the special characters and alphanumeric characters. Approval is not instant because we do review to make sure that folks are, in fact, associated with an agency. But we will approve you typically within 24 to 48 hours. You'll get an email saying that you're approved, and then you can simply go to the site and log in, and you are set to go. Real-time traffic tab on the site allows access to the map. You can also see there's a number of other choices. I'll talk about a couple represented as tabs on the top of the site. There is a tab for analytics on the site that I want to highlight, although I'm not going to spend any time on it today. There are entire webinars that we have dedicated to analytics, and I'm sure we will talk about it again. If you're interested at all in Inrix analytics, there's a couple of things you can do to learn more about it. One is you can access screencasts, which are short video clips that are hosted on the internet that highlight the functionality. That's essentially a tutorial of the site that highlights all the features of the analytics. And I believe we also have some recorded webinars accessible through the Inrix.com website, and so you can always access past webinars that we have given on the analytics and get some information that way. So now we'll talk just a tiny bit about Inrix XD traffic. And so a lot of folks are familiar with TMC, or traffic message channel segments. And TMC-based traffic has been an industry standard for a long, long time. But TMCs have served in the past and continue to serve the industry fairly well from a number of aspects. I mean, one, it is a quasi-standard, so it does allow continual reporting through the years on the same platform and that sort of thing. It allows the transmission of live traffic data with low bandwidth, so there's a couple of functions that TMCs have served very well. But there are some limitations to TMCs that have plagued our customers for some time. And one is that there are roads of significance that have not had TMC codes assigned to them. And so the coverage is in fact limited to the TMC network. The other thing is that TMCs tend to be longer than folks want for analysis purposes, especially when you move outside of the urban areas. You get out into rural interstates, not at all uncommon to see TMCs 5, 10, 15 miles or longer. And so we've come up with a segmentation system as the basis for Inrix XD traffic that addresses those shortcomings. The segments cover a lot more roadways, so broad coverage of the network, and they're limited to about 1 mile in length. There are some a little bit longer than that, but there are no multi-mile XD segments, and so it gives you a lot more granularity on the system. So we've also put the XD segments into our monitoring site, and so while the inrixtraffic.us is a free site, there is a premium site that you can subscribe to as a paid service that brings in not only the XD traffic links, so the broader coverage and the additional granularity, but it also brings in additional information and additional views. And so we've highlighted here those on the main menu bar. And so this is the menu from the XD traffic monitoring site. And you can see that it adds subsegment information. It also adds total fusion, which means some predicted information, comparative speed view, which I will show. The entire suite of incidents are available for viewing, as well as traffic cameras on a map-based view. So through the additional coverage, we'll just kind of show how that looks and the difference in the two maps. So this is a view of the premium monitoring site. And again, it's still a great site. It has the core coverage across the U.S. and Canada, about 125,000 miles of roadway, where if we click on the XD segments, you can just see the increase in the breadth of the coverage. And I'll kind of click back and forth a couple times. So you can see it's a 5x increase in coverage and over 600,000 miles of roadways across the U.S. and Canada, including most freeway ramps at interchanges. Just a little bit of a zoom in on what that looks like at a regional view when you compare the standard site to the XD monitoring site. You can see the additional road coverage that's available. Here's a view that provides the increased interchange detail that's available. So you can see the frontage roads and ramps are in fact covered, and this is on a speed view, so you can see the different actual average speeds on each link, that it does in fact include all the ramps and frontage roads, as well as some of the secondary roads and arterials on the surface streets, as well as complete coverage of the freeway system. Another kind of drill in on the XD view, so the XD segments, and so you can see here the additional granularity, the different colors on the map, provides a lot more detail as to what's happening with traffic flow, where if we were looking at a TMC view, these colors would tend to be blended over broader segments. And you can click and drill down and see the individual link speed. So here we are, 1 mile XD segment. You can see the speed then mile by mile, as well as what the typical speed would be for this time of day and the free flow speed for that segment, and then of course the travel time across that segment, currently. And again, this refreshes once every minute. And so as if that segment view wasn't granular enough, we've gone to sub-segment traffic. And so we actually, if we see a speed differential within that segment, we actually will now show that on the map as well. And so it shows up as different colors on the individual segments. And those individual speeds are also available through the APIs. And so folks that are integrating data into different platforms can actually pull in this sub-segment detail of speed. Comparative view is another feature that's added to the monitoring site. So comparative view is great for operators that have a map up continually. So you might have this map on a video wall and lots of colors on the map. It's kind of hard to see on there what is different than normal, right? So that's what the comparative view is intended to show. And you can see from the legend here that the speed, the color band that we use, or the color that we use on bands for speeds, plus or minus 4 miles an hour, is white. And so the map tends to look like the roads have kind of disappeared, but in fact they're colored white if the speed is normal. So they kind of tend to disappear into the background. And then links that are running faster than normal are shown in a couple shades of green. And then links that are running slower than normal are yellow, red, and black. And again, this is compared to typical for the specific to time of day and day of week. So this map really does show you, hey, what's different today, right now, this minute, from what we would expect to see at this time of day, on this day of the week. So these are your trouble spots, right? These are the folks, these are the places where you can focus some attention. Accidents, so again, we have a number of different incident types that we're adding to the platform on the premium view, the XD traffic, and I'll click through them very, very quickly. So accidents, so again, folks are used to seeing accident icons on the map. You know, one of the things that's different here, of course, with Inrix is that you can click on the icon and get some information about that collision. It tells you a little bit about, you know, what has happened there, what's going on, as well as the queue and delay associated with the accident. Same thing for special events. Again, so we know special events, you know, shape traffic flow, and so we have integrated special events into the platform as well, so you can see those that we've integrated on the map. Construction zones. So again, construction zones that we've integrated, active places that are having impact on the freeway. Again, not only show up as an icon that there is construction here, but you can actually click on the icon and see is this construction zone actually having an impact on traffic flow. And I should mention there is another entire platform that we can provide as a service that allows a lot of drill down into construction zones. So there's a whole suite of products related to construction zone monitoring and management that incorporates the Inrix speed data as well. So lots of rich things we can do with construction zones. Congestion alerts. So congestion alerts are somewhat unique in that these are icons that are triggered specifically by slowdowns on the roadway without knowing the underlying cause. Right? So these are places where there's not a collision that we've noted or a construction zone, but there is a slowdown. So obviously, typical bottlenecks that are due to freeway being over capacity show up as flow alerts. So traffic congestion alerts. The alerts, again show the length of the backup. How long is this queue? And what is the delay from typical, and what is the delay from free flow? So user-reported alerts, and so our mobile application, I've got a couple slides on this coming up, so I'll drill down a little bit. So the mobile application, the Inrix traffic, does allow users of the application to report those alerts to Inrix. Different from some other providers, we actually do something with those alerts other than just put them on the map. They become an input to our entire incident platform, and so they could be joined up with an agency incident if there, in fact, there's an agency incident reported there, so we'll merge up those incidents so you don't just end up with a whole bunch of dots on a map or people driving around pressed a button. So I mentioned that the source of the user alerts or user-generated incidents is the Inrix Traffic mobile application. It is a free app, and if you're not familiar with it, you can certainly go to the iTunes App Store or the Google Play and download Inrix Traffic, try it out. It is a great place to view the Inrix coverage, so you can actually see what roads Inrix covers using the mobile app. But it's also a great personal tool to use for your personal navigation and avoiding congestion places. So one of the features of the app is it does allow users to report incidents along the roadway. So you can accidents, construction zones, just generic roadway hazards that don't fit into one of those other categories, or police locations can be reported through the app, and then they end up coming into the Inrix incident platform to be curated and reported back out with the other incidents. The platform does work on mobile devices, so whether it be your iPad or your Android device. So it's a great way to actually take this information on the road. If you're an incident responder, or somebody managing traffic out on the roadway, you can take this information with you on a mobile platform. So I'm going to talk just a tiny bit about incidents, and then I'm going to turn it over to Kevin to talk about RoadWatch. So I mentioned, obviously that we have incident curation, and so we have a group of professionals that work 24/7, 365, inputting incidents into our system. We do pull in agency incident feeds where they are available, been made available, but then we also add a rich amount of information related to that we mine off other sources, and then push all that information out together. And so the user-generated incidents off the app can become part of this incident platform. And so again, it's something that we manage as professionals and take very seriously. Incidents are not a game to us. This is a very serious business where incidents are going to end up showing up on the maps of automobiles, high-end vehicles, and the vehicles of all ranges. And so we do need this to be high-quality platform. By the same token, it does have to have a lot of breadth. We do need to make sure that we cover a rich amount of the incidents are available. It's impossible to ever capture 100%. I'm going to say that, but we do a good job here, right? And so we pull in, I think, more incidents than many other sources that are available. If not any other source, it's always hard to do the extremes, but we measure up very well against the other alternatives in accessing incident information. And announcing today, one of the things we're very proud about is that we're adding an incident reporting tool to the monitoring site. And so this could be the subject of its own webinar, so I'm not going to talk about it a lot, but the Inrix Incident Reporter is a professional platform specifically developed for the input and management of incidents. And we are making this tool available to any public agency that wants to use it. And so obviously we benefit from having incidents in the system. You benefit from having incidents in our system as well. We're happy to pull in incidents from agencies that have a feed, but we know that there's a lot of agencies out there that know about incidents in construction zones, but have not yet had the ability to invest in a tool to put those out on the internet. And so we're going to provide that tool for you. And so if you simply contact us and let us know that you're interested in using the Inrix Incident Reporter, we will provide some training and provide a log on to you, and this becomes then an available part of your monitoring platform, and it will add then the incidents that you put in the tool to all the incidents that we've put in, as well as those user-generated incidents to really complete that incident picture for your jurisdiction. This could be a DOT that has yet to invest in their own tool, but this could also be a city or a county that is sitting inside of a DOT jurisdiction where the DOT is putting in a lot of incidents, but you would really like to add some incidents for a traffic map, for your jurisdiction. We've now made this tool available to you. So all you have to do is contact us, and we will set you up. So now I am going to pass to Kevin Sylvester and let him take you through RoadWatch. So I'm going to just give me 1 second to pass control of the screen to Kevin.
Great, thank you, Ted. Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kevin Sylvester, and I'm with the product team here at Inrix. And we're really excited to talk to you about RoadWatch, an exciting new product that we've developed in close cooperation with our industry-leading partner in traffic cameras, Vision. And RoadWatch was developed, and we feel it really is a good enhancement to our set of monitoring tools. It was developed to address a very specific need, where operation centers, fleet management operators have generally limited access to a range of cameras in their region, as well as the ability to use those cameras in a way that is displayed in a video wall. It's cost prohibitive to build these solutions, so we've developed a product that is a lightweight Windows application, leveraging the extensive network of traffic cameras that are aggregated through our partner Vision and Inrix. It is extremely flexible. It's very simple to use. We feel our licensing model is very attractive, so it provides the use of a video wall application at a very small fraction of the cost of traditional solutions. We will demo the product here shortly, but just to touch on a few highlights of the application. The traffic camera coverage through Inrix is 3x any other of the traffic camera solutions in the market today. It's made up of over 150 agency sources across 30 countries, over 600 cities, and 35,000 cameras is the current count. We are working tirelessly with our partner to add cameras to this service on a daily basis, so it is continually growing. The application leverages the underlying camera service, so as new cameras are added to the Inrix Envision portfolio, the desktop RoadWatch application is able to leverage those. And you'll see in a minute the ease of use and the functionality of this application, but if you can envision an operation center that you're probably quite familiar with operators with multiple screens, you're able to view traffic camera images in a very flexible manner. So you can open multiple instances of the application at once. You can show camera images at full screen. And you can really take traffic camera images away from a static view on a map to a much more interactive and functional tool. You'll see in a moment as we go through the application how collections of cameras are customizable. It's up to the user to define how they want to view the cameras, how they want to organize the cameras, and share amongst users. So the camera catalogs are easily exported and imported so you can share with your coworkers, and virtually unlimited number of configurations that can be used with this application. You'll see as we take a look at the demonstration, you'll get a feel for the various use cases that might work in your agency, but it's been designed to meet the needs of those in operation centers, incident management, emergency management, as well as monitoring weather conditions for disasters and such. So that being said, I'm going to see if I can switch over to the application itself. So what you're seeing here is an instance of RoadWatch that is showing a catalog of the Seattle metro area. And you'll see that this full screen view, you're able to show 25 cameras at once. The cameras will display either JPEG data at the update frequency that it is provided by the agencies, or full streaming data where it's available. And each one of the video wall applications has a center pane, and the center pane is easily modified by selecting one of the other images. So in order to display something in the center pane, just select the camera that you're interested in looking at, and it will bring you to the center pane. Within the center pane, you have the ability to actually drag this camera out now, undock it from the video wall, modify the size if you wish. If you can envision multiple screens, this can be taken over to a multiple screen setup and even displayed in full screen. There is no limit to the number of undocked images that you're able to utilize. So you begin to get a feel for the flexibility offered within the application here. I keep noticing a crow fly by this camera. If you're interested in bird watching, there's a good application as well. So we'll close those out. So again, each instance of the application and the video wall can show up to 25 cameras at once. And we've pre-built several different groupings of catalogs here. One nice feature is you're able to scroll with this arrow button left and right through the various collections of catalogs that you've developed. You can either do that manually, or you can select the tour feature to automatically cycle through the catalogs. And this will take about 30 seconds, and you can envision this running on one screen, just devoted to a set of walls, and it will cycle through each one of those images or those catalogs at a 30-second frequency. One other feature that is unique to the Inrix Envision traffic camera solution are some of the image enhancement and cropping features. So this is displaying London in the UK, and one of the features that's quite useful in low light conditions of our traffic camera solution is to perform image enhancement. And that really just automatically sharpens up the image. It really helps in poor weather or low light conditions, as you can see. You can see the change there. Another feature that's unique to the camera service here in the application is the intelligent cropping of images. So often the agency feeds provide a different view of the camera. The service here really takes full advantage of the screen real estate available to us. So you can see here, this is the actual full camera image that's provided from the agency. Automatically, we do an intelligent cropping feature, which takes better advantage of that camera real estate. So going back over to Seattle. In addition, the application can be running more than one time on a desktop. So you see here I've got 2 instances of RoadWatch open. Both of them are interacting with the same catalogs and catalog groups, which are the underlying collections of cameras. This is a nice view just to show the overall coverage footprint of the camera service. The map controls are extremely easy to use. You can either use your mouse typical scroll functions or use the functionality embedded in the controls. So I'd like to just quickly touch on the ability to, the overview of how you can find or explore the cameras that are available to you. So in the top left, you have the ability to search by region. So for example, if we're interested in taking a look at the California collection of cameras, we have a very easy set of drop-downs to go navigate that. You also have the ability to search by specific sources. So again, going to California, or Texas, for example, if you're looking for a particular source, you have the ability to do this, and it will jump you right to that area. The other nice feature about running multiple instances of the application at once is you can edit the catalogs independent of the application in a way that will be interactive. You'll see what I mean here for a second. So I'm going to go search for a camera in New York on one application. I'll switch my second application to that same viewing of cameras. I'll show you a couple of features here. So this is a coincident camera. This particular location has 3 individual cameras at the same location. By selecting each one of those with the hover, you can actually get a snapshot of the view. So if you'd like to edit your grouping of cameras, your catalog, in this manner, you can use this instance of the application and drag the cameras into the video wall, and you can now see them in the active application. So to touch on catalogs and catalog groups, the way this is built is catalog groups are a collection of catalogs, and catalogs are a collection of cameras. So you'll see I've created a catalog group of cities, and within each catalog group we have individual catalogs by city. These can obviously be arranged and created in any manner that the operator wishes. So we'll go ahead and we'll do that right now. We'll create a test catalog group. And within that test catalog group, we'll create a new catalog. We are going to then create a new video wall. Let's pick Texas. And you'll see that creation of a video wall is just as easy as dragging and dropping. Then to view the video wall, click on the bottom right corner and you've got the camera images that you selected. The other feature I'd like to show is the ability to import or export these catalogs so you can share them with your coworkers and others in the agency that might have a need to see them. Very simple functionality. I'm just going to export the catalog group cities. I'll give it a name. And you'll see that it's a very small XML file. It's right there on my desktop where I exported it to. So it's easy to email across the network or save on the network. In addition, to import a catalog group, it's the same way. So here's a catalog group that I've not imported yet. I'll do that now. Looks like I've got some network slowness. There's the newly imported catalog group, national wall map, and the various catalogs within it. So again, just touching on the customizable nature of the application. It's extremely easy to add, delete, and reorder. Just right-click on a camera, delete them from the view, and the view will be rearranged similar to a PowerPoint slideshow. So as you can see, RoadWatch is a highly flexible, easily customizable application, really leveraging the power of traffic cameras and bringing them to your operations center at a fraction of the cost of traditional solutions. We'd love to discuss more about the application with you at your convenience, so please let us know if you have any questions. We can give you a demonstration of the product in person. Thank you very much. That covers my part of the webinar.
Okay. So that's going to take us to the questions and answers. Yeah, let me pull up contact information on the screen. Just pass it over to you. Yeah, no. Give us 1 second here. Okay, so we've got contact information on here. So, well, I'm going to put that up now. So, in case anybody wants to contact us, we are providing a free trial for the service, as well as the monitoring sites, so, and then the incident information. So, anything that interests you that you saw today, please feel free to contact us. And we'll go ahead and go down to the questions. I don't know if you can see these, I can read them. You want to, oh, Ali is going to read the questions for us, and then we'll have one of the panelists answer the question.
Great. So one of the questions that came up on the presentation was, how is incident data and details confirmed before it's presented to the incident site? Is that something you could answer, Ted?
Yeah, so the incident information is kind of goes through twofold. So most all the information is reviewed by, again, I mentioned live staff that we have that basically watches over the site and inputs data 24/7. It kind of depends on the source, right? So we have trusted sources like DOTs where the incident information comes in and automatically flows through the system. It's combined with flow information and then posted. We have made the choice to allow the user-generated incidents to essentially go through and be posted, and then they're essentially reviewed simultaneously. So we don't want to put a delay in there, but we do look at those to see if we want to add any information on top of that as well. So you kind of get a little bit of the best of both worlds here, where you get incident, you get very quick action, but you also get, curation and monitoring of the incidents.
Thanks, Ted. So let me just go through the list here. Another question about the RoadWatch product. Does Inrix host the video from their servers? I'll pass that question to Kevin.
Sure. Actually, the application has been developed to pass through the camera servers of our partner, Vision, so their hosting services are leveraging this, and it's all running through the cloud.
Awesome. And then another one on RoadWatch. Can you control PTZ cameras through RoadWatch?
We do not have any sort of individual controls over the cameras, so we don't have PTZ functionality. It's more meant for viewing existing agency camera images.
Great. And then just following up with that, how do you get the video feeds from these cities and DOTs?
Each one of the agencies, so we're working on enhancing the coverage of the traffic camera service at all times. We are working closely with our partner Vision to aggregate the content through each individual agency. So it's agency by agency with over 10 years of experience in this field, pulling in individual agency feeds.
Great. And then are we able to limit viewers of the cameras? So, for example, if we had a bad accident and we didn't want to make it public to all the citizens and only limit it to first responders, is there a way to do that?
Just through the functionality of the application and the flexibility, each one of those video wall views that you saw is easily editable by the operator. So it's really dependent upon how that catalog is created by the operator. You could delete cameras if you wished to control what is seen on the video wall.
Cool. So then there's another one. This, what type of pipeline or bandwidth is required to run RoadWatch?
It's a good question. We have a slide that we can add to the overall deck that shows system requirements and bandwidth. It does not require much. Most of the images are JPEGs and pseudo streaming JPEGs. Full streaming where available, but it is a relatively low bandwidth intensive application.
And there is no equipment to install.
No equipment to install.
User side.
No, it is just runs on a Windows desktop, and it does run on all current Windows desktop editions.
Great. And then this question, I'll go back to Ted and the XD monitoring site. We had a question about coverage outside of the U.S., specifically Canada. So maybe we'd like to touch on our European and
right. So that's kind of limited in our naming functionality, I guess, as far as the URLs and posting up to the web. But the inrixtraffic.us site is intended to really be, a North American product, and so it covers Canada and Mexico for that matter. And then there's essentially a monitoring site to cover any one of the 40 countries that we cover. So there's an inrixtraffic.eu that covers the European countries. So depending on what country you want to view, we can hook you up with appropriate monitoring site for that.
Great. I'm just going back through this list of questions. So this one goes back to Kevin on RoadWatch. Can the cameras be recorded in each video wall?
There is no recording functionality available from within each video wall, but they can be reordered. I think that's the not recorded but reordered is the question. They can be reordered in each video wall. You can create the order in which the operator wants them. So it's just as easy as drag and drop.
Sorry about that. Thanks. Do you charge for the service to stream DOT cameras? Are there install charges?
If we're talking about an instance where DOT cameras are not yet integrated within the Inrix Envision service, and we're actually talking about bringing in a new feed, that's probably a separate discussion that we'd love to have with you. In terms of displaying current streaming images, there are no additional charges. It's just all leveraged through the Inrix Envision traffic camera service.
Great. Well, that kind of wraps up the question and answer session. Again, if you have any additional questions outside of this meeting, please feel free to reach out to us. bizdev@inrix is the contact information. And you can also just go to inrix.com and access contact information for our public sector team, as well as get links to the monitoring sites and register for a free trial. Thank you so much for joining us today. I appreciate your time. I'd also like to thank Ted and Kevin for sharing so much great information about real-time traffic monitoring and Inrix data solutions. The webinar has been recorded and will be available on demand. You will get an email within 24 hours that will provide you with the link to the recorded webinar. If you have any colleagues that you'd like to share that recording with, you can just share that link and then they will be able to register and download it themselves. So you'll have that within 24 hours. Thank you again, and please feel free to check us out at inrix.com.